All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always, man, by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, B'cha HaKodash. Daban is unto the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing his work in truth and sincerity. And also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And in this lesson here, I wanted to do a response to a video here that was put up by Think Media. And as you can see, the name of their video is called Navigating the Digital Control Grid. Catherine Austin Fitz. And she is the woman who has been interviewed here in this setting. And I just wanted to respond to it, man, because the topic of the mark of the beast is starting to become more apparent. And people are just outright saying the mark of the beast. Because if you have two brain cells, okay, just two, you can clearly see that the system that is being put in place, you know that the mark of the beast is about to be established. You can clearly see it, man. All the moves being made, all of the legislation that's being signed, it's leading to this digital control grid. The Bible calls it the mark of the beast, okay? In which you will be chipped and you'll be tracked and traced and controlled, all right? The apostles, the elders, the bishops of Great Millstone, and men have been saying this for the longest. But now here in the last days, man, this thing is starting to manifest more and more. And you Israelite camps out there who are still teaching contrary-wise is going to have to answer a lot of questions and ultimately put your foot in your mouth. Because this is no joke, man. There shouldn't be no brother and sister in Israel who isn't up to date on the M.O.T.B, who don't understand what it is. But then again, the Most High blinds whom he blinds. He misguide whom he misguide, and he give the truth until he give the truth to. So I'm not surprised that Jake don't know about the M.O.T.B, but it's like, bro, what else needs to be shown unto you? Can you think? Can you see? What's the problem, man? You guys don't have the spiritual eyes and the spiritual ears. And this is why you can't get the M.O.T.B. But it's very apparent, okay? And in this setting here with Catherine Fitz, they're going to openly say that this is the mark of the beast. They're going to say the actual words. Because it's time, man. It's time. So without further ado, I want to play a small portion here of this clip. And you're going to actually hear them say here in the video, the mark of the beast, that hey, what's being set up is the mark of the beast. So here we go.
Conversation. We're going to push ahead. I want you to go with me into the future. We've had conversations about artificial intelligence. We've talked about the future of investing with AI. We even talked about the potential of how AI is going to create flying vehicles and drones and so on and so forth. What I want you to do now with me is enter into a conversation that's going to require you to imagine a future that maybe isn't completely here yet, but is being built for us as human beings. And the person we're going to have do that is someone named Catherine Austin Fitz. She's the president of Solari Inc. She's an investment banker during the presidency of George H.W. Bush. She served as the United States Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. But what Catherine's been doing for so many years is educating leaders around how our economy works and what the future of our economy may look like and how it could impact human flourishing. It's a topic that not a lot of Christian leaders have heard about. It's a topic that not a lot of church leaders are talking about. And I want to introduce that topic today because I think it's going to be essential for us to know how to navigate this coming future control grid. And I want you to understand that language. And I want you to understand specifically what we're talking about. So to introduce this segment, I'm going to begin by just showing you a short clip. This was back right in the era of 2020. And this was from one of the heads of the central bank, as we think about the entire world, telling us about where the future of our currency is going to go and what the plans are for the future. So let's listen to this.
All our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash. And there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Would you join me in welcoming Catherine Austin-Fitts? Welcome, Catherine. Now, we all just heard this speech from a few years ago. Could you describe who was this and what was he saying to us?
The Bank of International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. And the Bank of International Settlements is the central bank of central banks. The top 63 members of, or the top 63 central banks in the world are members. And what he is describing is their push for programmable money. He called it central bank digital currencies, but it could be stable coins that are hooked up to a social credit system. There are many different ways of doing programmable money. Here's what he told you. He told you the money that you have is not your money, it's their money. So he said it's an expression of central bank liability. And what he said, and of course this is the beauty of AI and software and telecommunications and the different systems we're putting into place, what he said is, we can make the rules centrally, the central bankers can make the rules, and we can enforce them using the technology. Now, what that means is we've all lived in a world where the bankers ran monetary policy, but our legislative representatives and our executive branch ran fiscal policy. What he's saying is we can now run fiscal policy through your money, and that means we can do taxation without representation. So that's the message. We intend to have total central control.
We'll talk a little bit more about how this technology is advancing. We know of digital IDs, we know of currencies, and there's so much happening even with AI. How do we, as just people of faith, start to navigate what is coming? And could you just paint a picture of what this digital control grid might look like?
Right. So if you're a Christian, you know what the mark of the beast is. And in fact, what we're talking about is building.
You see that? See, they're openly saying it now. It's the mark of the beast. If you read the scripture, okay? If you read the scripture, it is clear as day, brother, what's being set up. You heard that manager, that general manager from the Bank of International Settlements say flat out that, look, with CBDCs and with AI, we'll have the power to know who is buying this, who is buying that. We can put, regulations on this and on that and have total control. Now, when you read the M.O.T.B, bro, that is exactly, what the Apostle John wrote down. I have it pulled up here in the GNT Bible. I'll grab it real quick. This is very interesting, man. Revelation 13. Starting in verse 15, it says, the second beast was allowed to breathe life into the image of the first beast, so that the image could talk and put to death all those who would not worship it, The beast forced all the people, small and great, rich and poor, slave and free, to have a mark placed on their right hands or on their foreheads. No one could buy or sell without this mark, that is, the beast's name or the number that stands for the name. So this is very clear, man, that with the mark of the beast, all right, when you get it, or if you get it, right, they're going to have the control to be able to say, hey, you can buy something or you can't buy something. What's going to give them that control? Programmable money. They can't stop you from buying and selling with cash. That's impossible to do. If the stores are still accepting cash, banks accepting cash, like they can't stop you. But if everything goes digital, now we're talking. Now they can say, hey, you can't buy or sell because they'll have control over your digital currency. That's going to give them that kind of control. This is what the Apostle John is saying. They're going to be able to dictate whether you can buy or sell with this mark, bro. So here with Catherine Austin Fitts, she's openly saying it. So here we go.
Technology. Now, what that means is we've all lived in a world where the bankers ran monetary policy, but our legislative representatives and our executive branch ran fiscal policy. What he's saying is we can now run fiscal policy through your money, and that means we can do taxation without representation. So that's the message. We intend to have total central control.
We'll talk a little bit more about how this technology is advancing. We know of digital IDs, we know of currencies, and there's so much happening even with AI. How do we, as just people of faith, start to navigate what is coming? And could you just paint a picture of what this digital control grid might look like?
Right. So if you're a Christian, you know what the mark of the beast is. And in fact, what we're talking about is building the different building blocks to build into the mark of the beast. And if you look at what's happening with digital technology, none of this can happen without 100% digitized financial system. So,
right. And this is why you're seeing a heavy push of these data centers being built around the country, around the world. But in particular here in America, they're building these data centers at a rapid pace, man. They need that data. They need that infrastructure in place to get this system up and running. Stargate is a big part of that, okay? With OpenAI and Oracle, they're setting up massive data centers, okay, to store all this information, to store all this data, so they can be able to track and trace you all the time, 24/7. To be able to, power these drones and these AI cameras they want to put out there, all kinds of things, man. And you got people, all right, who are complaining about that these data centers are causing harm to the environment. Nobody's surprised by that, right? Esau always destroying the damn environment. But they got to put these things in place for this system to work. So this is what she's saying.
The two chief components are a digital ID and programmable money. And once you get rid of cash and analog systems, if you look at how the financial system is being sort of organized and fused, we have all these different pieces. And if you talk to most people, they find each piece convenient. The problem is when you get to 100% digital money and you kill cash and you kill any analog system like checks, what happens is the system fuses, bang, and you get, next slide.
Wow, just look at this in the background here. You know what she put together, man. You got AI, digital ID, all digital money, digital assets, digitized transport, smart homes and cities, right? They spoke about smart cities at the WEF. 15 mini cities, man. It says digitized food and farming, right? Big data, smartphones, telecommunication, surveillance, media, social media, neurological weaponry, QR and barcodes, digital elections. So they're going to basically digitize everything, man. Okay? Everything. And we're seeing it. And it's happening at a rapid pace, man. Here we go.
The digital concentration camp. So the example I used earlier this afternoon is, imagine getting a call in 2028 and someone says, a representative from the government, either you transgender your children or we're going to turn off your money. Unless you take this pharmaceutical or you give it to your children, we're going to turn off your money. We have another pandemic. They say, you're locked down, your money won't work if you leave your home. We've decided you shouldn't buy real meat, you shouldn't eat real meat, we're going to have you buy lab-grown meat. Your money will only work to buy lab-grown meat. So we're talking about a world that if you've grown up with the blessings of liberty that we've all enjoyed, you can't imagine. You can't imagine that anyone would do this. However, as a Christian, you can imagine who might do this.
Right. So that's the kind of control that these Edomites will have, and they're going to threaten people. Hey, look, if you don't take these vaccines, your money won't work. If you don't bow down to these certain rules and regulations, your money's not going to work. We can't give you Medicaid because you have refused this or refused that. So certain threats will be issued out with the M.O.T.B, bro. This is no joke. And she's on point. Now, here in America, as she was saying, we are used to certain freedoms. All of us are, right? So to speak. We got, a little freedom over here to do this and do that, travel where you want to go and buy this and buy that. So it's going to be kind of hard to adjust to a system like that for all of Americans, okay? But since we are hip to the scriptures, we're already preparing our minds for this system, man, knowing how trying it's going to be, knowing how much of a test it's going to be unto our livelihoods, right? But we're trusting in the Most High to take care of us, man, when these things are truly implemented in the earth. But this is going to be a shock to all of the, people over here in America, bro. And it's going to be hard for them to adjust. But they're going to have to adjust if they want to continue to work and buy food and get medicine and have a home and have a car and so on and so forth. This is so serious, man. This is so serious. The M.O.T.B is coming. And it's going to shock a lot of people in the faith, so to speak. They're going to be shocked by it. Oh my God. What to do? What do you mean what to do? Have you been watching the videos? Have you been praying? Have you read the scriptures? You should know what to do, man. The Lord told you what to do. But you're still going to have some out there who are clueless, afraid, okay? Because we're used to certain comforts. You got to shake that shit off, bro. As Yahushua said, if you're tied to this world, the M.O.T.B going to get you, bro. You're going to get snatched up in the spirit by the M.O.T.B. It's going to break you, man. This is why you got to take this thing serious, bro. You got to pray. You got to get it right. Because this devil is coming, okay? He's coming with pure hell with this M.O.T.B, bro. Pure hell. And if you're not tight in the faith, man, grown in the faith, okay, detached from this world, it's going to get you, bro. I know it's easy to say now, but look, man, if you're not detached from this world, the M.O.T.B going to get you. So I'll pause it right there. All right. You can watch the rest of this video, but I just want to play that part of her saying the M.O.T.B and what's going to come with this thing, man. We're all going to be tested. But hey, it is what it is, bro. We're trusting in the Most High to provide, to save, to protect, man. He promised that if we keep the faith unto the end, He's going to guard us and keep us safe, right? Protect us. This is what the Lord promised. So I'll close out with that, man. I pray that it was edifying. I'll praise you. How about Shema Shai? Shalom.